Graffiti nella giungla dei graffiti. Questo è Impastore Rockstar. It's the podcast. Yes, sir. Now we actually just consistently daily working on the podcast. What's today now? What? It's October 1st. Wednesday. It's Wednesday. On a Wednesday. I remember it like it was a Wednesday. Yeah. Let's get cozy. Oh. All right. Already a minute in, we got a like. Thanks. A minute in. I like already. Thanks. I think did a little research. We tagged some merch. I like that. It's a clean design. We on a roll. Oh well, if for design wise, not too much, but uh, we can do one simple one for Samurai Champloo, and you gotta do that last one for. I did the editing for it. I didn't give up on it. I was about to say I was just sitting there, but I noticed how today, well not yeah, when I was sitting there designing some new shirts. When I was designing new shirts today, it just priority wise, that wasn't the one I was gonna be super excited to sit there and kind of sort of make. So, but yeah, now I am ready to just literally right now, mentally, I'm ready to just not actually like now. Now I'm at that point where I don't want to watch, react to anything else. It's just I just kind of just want to sit and just chill. Let's get the poll going. Let's see here. Mm-hmm. One, two. Boom. What else we got? Is that this one and one more? Get the poll going. Have some type of regularity here. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Boom, boom, boom. Okay. Boom, boom. All right. So, after watching both of those two, I know it's Samurai Champloo is where we're going to try to go. We're going to stick with the Samurai Champloo. That was, it's a couple things here. It's things to talk about. So I didn't really get into it. So let's see. Let's see. When you go to make a video, one of the things that they'll try to say, you gotta be able to hook their attention, right? And so you see too, mind you, you go back in time, certain things are going to be. Araya is a nice name. If you go back in time, you know, the way that they used to handle certain things is done a certain way. So so that was one of the things, right? That's one of the things. So from there, you look into how does it start? How does it start? It starts off, I'm gonna talk cryptically, guillotine, off with their head. You know what I'm saying? That's how it starts, right? And then it's like, chicka, 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 scratch. Let's go, how do we get here? Now, one of the things that was like, if you have ADHD or ADD or anything like that, This show will still keep your focus of trying to figure out what's going on, figuring out the plot and what's happening, right? Now, I do not like when men critique my face to say anything good or bad. Let's not do that. So, from there, it says, how do we get here? Quorum, Quorum, quorum is the kind. Nicaraguan, I like my I like my women. Nicaraguan, I like it like that. As an Ecuadorian rapper. So starts off with opening sing off with her, right? So how do we get here? So it goes back. But starting with something like that, American Gangster. If you've seen how American Gangster starts, like before it says American Gangster, like before it says the title, you see Denzel, the guy, and this and the third is, right? That's how American Gangster starts. So that's what it kind of was about, right? Go back. Now, one of the little things that they put that in there is, what did they do from there? Trigger, trigger, a day earlier. Now, there's this, right? Because it's called Samurai. So that's not of this time frame. That's of another, like an ancient, older time frame, right? But it shows like people, walking down the street, listening to some music, cars and trains or whatever going past, whatever, right? But that'd be present. But then it kind of like does this warp of taking it back in time, right? So it does that. And then now from there's a couple different things here. And so they're in a shop, and the one girl, her name is Fu, Fuu. So Fu is trying to serve the people in the shop, and she's trying to serve the people in the shop. And what happens? They're men, and so they're going to say certain things to her and try to flirt with her, and this and the third, da da da. And so they're just, for conversational purposes, they're being obnoxious or whatever. Now, another thing to sit here and contemplate on is just, if I would take it to an education sense, most of us have been in school. Some of us should have been left behind. No child left behind. So bring back the accountability. In the 90s, 2000s, before this rise of technology and cell phones, before a teacher walks into a room, you probably know this person or that person. There's a lot of chatter. There's a lot of, communication, right? One of the things is like a teacher would have to walk into a room and kind of like calm everybody down. So, uh, but now, a teacher could walk into a classroom now and there wouldn't be a lot of talking and chatter. A lot of students would just be on their phone. Nobody would really be talking. That's the thing, right? So, and so the reason I say that is because one of the guys, like, so mind you, ancient, older times, before TV, right? Before having a television, he's like, I'm bored. He's like, what is there anything to do around here? So think if you try to like put yourself in life before TV, and it, like, mind you, it's ancient times in a sense, ancient, we'll just say like Asia, samurais, Japan, China, right? And so there is this element like, yeah, it could be boring. What are we going to do around it? What is life? There's no television, there's no phones. And so guys like, it's boring. And so with that though, of people who are in power, they could try to exert their power in certain types of ways. That's the thing, right? They're bored, and so they're just going to try to exert their power over who? Like, I'm the emperor, I'm this, then the third, I got my bodyguards, I can do and say whatever type of thing. So, like, you'll see like this this power display from certain people because they feel and so the one guy, so inside the restaurant, the one guy is supposed to be like the nephew of the governor or something, right? So so him having his entourage of security guards, and just because they feel like they can do or say certain things, have their way, right? And so she's having a little trouble with them. And then that's one. And so another thing within this, there are two situations happening simultaneously in a sense. You got the restaurant, that's one. There's a power struggle with these it's a group of men, and there's just like them antagonizing the waiter. They're just bored though. They don't have anything to do. The other one, not sure why, but the governor or whoever is, I'm not sure what the guy did, but the guy only has a little bit of money. And he's like, I don't want your scrap change. And he throws it back at him, whatever. And so it's like, but there's like this public display of humiliation, right? There's this going on. But people are watching. Now, the people watching, what are they going to do? What are they going to do? And so it's the governor and his guards. What are these people watching going to be able to do? They can't, you see what I'm saying? They can't defend this guy or anything like that. So then we have where our two characters come in, right? Our two characters. One is wearing red, and the other one is he's wearing blue. So if you in the governor scene, the blue character, he don't like what's going on inside the third. And the one guy tries to like say, hey, you know, those look at those guards. They got this high rank and they're like really good, whatever. Their security, like you don't want to go against them. He don't care. He walk up and he's like, y'all blocking the road. Y'all need to move, all right? Because it's the governor and his guards and all that. Like y'all are blocking the road. Y'all need to move to carry somewhere. And they're like, who are you talking to? He starts this whole thing with them. He takes them all out, right? Back in the shop, the red character walks into the shop. He asks for water. Now, there's something off with the translation and the actual audio. So it's not off, but it's just like, it's not an exact translation, kind of, sort of. And so he asked for water. Like, this was like, the funny thing, she was like, if you're broke, you can't, if you broke, just say that. She was like, we don't do this. She said something like, if you're broke, just say that, but you gonna have to buy some food. We're not just giving no water. So you come in and ask for water. She's like, if you broke, just say that. She said something along the lines of that, and it's like, what? And so, but then he says to her, 50 dumplings. And now all those guys over there, I'll handle them. I'll get them out of here. I'll handle them for you, right? She was like, psh. Oh, she says 20. He says 50 dumplings. She says 20. And he was like, I'm not going anything below 50, right? So she was like, all right, whatever. Then she goes back. And so when she goes back, what does she do from here? She goes back. And so they start messing with her again. But this time it's about to like kind of turn up, right? So this time they're like, they bend her over on the table and it's like, yeah. The one guy was with his sword. He was like, I needed a reason to use my sword, you know? And he was like, just don't move too much, because if you're whatchamacallit, I might take off more than one finger. And so he's saying this, right? And then so she's like, 100 dumplings. 100 dumplings. And so he gets up, he starts handling them. The other guy, he already did the whole thing with the governor's part. He also walks into this shop. And then so then the red guy and the blue guy start going at it. But then there's some other guy. So there's a other little couple whatchamacallits that kind of like sort of happen within here, right? So this other guy, you know, like nowadays we got an asylum or we got this and the third for certain people who might be, you know, cuckoo. So this guy all of a sudden walks in, he knocks over such and such and was like, oh no, No, is it stuck? Please don't be stuck. Please don't be stuck. No. I'm not to fix this. Okay. Does it look like a roll of pennies? Type of question is that, right? Why should I entertain that? Guy walks in. He's not struggling. Boom. The whole thing goes up in flames. The guy was like, this seems like a perfect setting for our duel, our battle, or whatever, right? So they start going back and forth, but then it's like, the next time they wake up, the governor is like, yeah. He's like, that wasn't it. He was like, I just remember fire and this and that. He was like, is it? I thought it was a dream. He was like, nah, that wasn't a dream. He's like, well, what about this part? He was like, that part was a dream. He said something a little, whatchamacallit. So from there, what did they say from there? Oh, now this brings you back to the beginning of the episode of off with that guillotine. How do we get here, right? It comes back to that. So now we're back at there. The girl though, since he low key did kind of help her, she comes, she causes a distraction. They're able to get away, and that this is how. So why? But before they were, when they were in jail waiting for their sentencing or whatever. Well, it's not a sentencing, but yeah, while they were in jail, she comes. She whatchamacallit, the key breaks, and but she says, "Help me look for the samurai who smells flowers." Huh? Huh? The samurai who smells flowers. She even does this one thing. They like they bought the red guy and the blue guy. So one of the things the blue guy was like, yeah, he was like, you're the first person I fought that's still alive. And he was like, your style of fighting is just so wild and it's just untrained. He's like, your stance is too wide and it's not a third, right? And so they go back and forth of like, he's like, bro, who are you talking to? And he's like, the name's Munyon. And he was like, the other guy's like, the name's Gene. So Gene and Munyon are the two main characters. Gene is the blue guy in the blue, I guess, kimono. Muyin is the guy in the red kimono. So they both of them you of the whatchamacallit, Jing would be the more skillful, silent, crafty, not skillful and like it doesn't whatchamacallit, but he'll be like from the conversation, he's the more elegant type of whatchamacallit. Mugen is like, nah, I'm just raw and I'm just nice like that, just naturally just because I don't need no training inside there. That's what the vibe is for those two. So they do have this little scene, they're getting away, and she was like, you're supposed to help me out. And she was like, if I flip this coin, if it lands on such and such, you gotta help me. If not, y'all can just fight. And then like, he throws it up in the air. She's like, I think he threw it too far. And then it smacks her. There's just a little jump because then they be running. And she still has this little marker in her head. This is anyway. It is beautifully animated. It's beautifully animated. I'm going to stick with that and watch that one for a little bit. So yeah, that's what I would say about that one, man. I'm curious to see where this goes. And again, so some like it was one of those genres. It's like, all right, we have a story, and now the next set episode session. See, how I'm good on saying session now, and we're not watching Cowboy Bebop no more. But the next one, well, these are supposed to be of the same, animators, creators. So on the next one, it will be like, all right, we're picking back up, and that's what I feel like was one of the things missing in Cowboy Bebop, but happened in session 12 and 13. But now it's like, all right, boom. Now this next one, we get to continue our story here. So it's decent. I like it. And I'm gonna move this one. I'm trying to see, is there anything else? Because I made a quick video, just my initial reaction, and this is like just a recap review. I'm trying to see, is there anything else I want to say about it? Nah, other than that, I was gonna knock it for pacing, right? With the certain things being too quick, but and I'm talking about in the sense of, okay, well, why is this happening or why is this happening type of thing. and to really flesh certain things out. However, other than that, it is pieced together. It is pieced together pretty well. And the if you ever were to go back and watch one of the old Power Ranger episodes, um, if you go back and ever watch one of the old Power Ranger episodes, you'd be like, how was I able to like keep track of like what's going on, because it changes scenes so much, right? So this one, there's a lot of scene changes and this happened. So that's what I'm saying. If at one point it was, bro, you are then just really locked in, like, because you got to keep track of what's going on and and them going back and forth between two things happening simultaneously and just trying to keep hold of like, okay, what's happening and why we're going from here to here. It is pieced together pretty well, and it will hold your attention. If you are somebody who's like, yo, it's hard for me to, this will, once this jank get going, you're like, bro, like, you are kind of just like locked in. You're just kind of like locked in. So let me finish this one.